I think we wanted to show an LA that is rarely shown on film. It's usually the Hollywood Hills and the Hollywood sign and the Capitol Tower and the beach and all this kind of stuff.
We picked the dirtiest, grimiest places where we had telephone wires and power lines running through every shot we had. It was really important to us to show a different side of LA, to not show the pretty side and not show the so-called edgy side of downtown. Like, let's just go to places that people actually work and live that are just freaky LA spots.
You can feel it on the film that we're not trying to fabricate a rough and tumble kind of area. We're actually in there, and it's not the safest place to film, but it did help that we were filming during the day, so we could kind of keep an eye on everything. But those places are for real.
There's certain spots in LA that get shot all the time. You see them in a million movies, and we really want to avoid those. We want to show some looks of LA that just nobody had ever seen in movies before. So we went to some crazy ass communities. I mean, places that were just like almost like third world in LA. Just so awesome.
Go away! It's on now!
Bill Clark, you gotta love him. We've never dealt with paparazzi. I mean, it was movie number 4 for us as writers, directors, or producers, and I don't think we've ever had paparazzi come to a set, and they were on set half of the shoot, and they were driving us nuts because Brian and I are both camera operating. We both have a camera, and we don't really have any rules to what we're going to shoot exactly in a scene. We like to follow the actors around, so we're like spinning around doing 270s and 360s around the actors, and everywhere we looked, fucking guy with a camera or a video camera was standing there trying to shoot Beiling's nipples.
Hoo-hoo.
And hoo-hoo.
The way to deal with the paparazzi is just try to make an agreement with them once you realize that they're going to be relentless, to not get too close, to try to stay out of the shots, to be cooperative, to go away under certain circumstances. And for the most part, they are relatively cooperative. I mean, there's a couple, total douchebags that think that they're somehow saving the world.
You've got some dude just standing there holding a camera, just doing this, looking at you like in the background. It's kind of a pain in the ass to deal with. I had grips flashing them with mirrors and stuff to try to get them away, and then we found out that that's illegal and we can't do it anymore. So we stopped doing that. But it was definitely a pain in the ass. It was getting to be a nuisance at one point. I was like, how did they even know we were there?
And then, worst comes to worst, Neveldine goes over and yells at him, and then they leave.
I remember Mark freaking out on the one dude, like saying, "Get the fuck out of my shot." Yeah, that was a good day.
Neveldine literally almost beat one of these guys down. Like I could see he got the crazy eyes. He gets crazy eyes sometimes, and he threw down the camera and just started heading for this guy. We were just like, "Oh boy, lawsuit. This is gonna be bad. This is gonna be bad."
Get the fuck out of my shot! We're making a movie, you idiots! Fucking move faster, motherfucker! Get the fuck off my set! I'm trying to shoot! Move! We're making a movie!
And the guy was just like a deer in the headlights. He never expected it. He was just like,
I believe I'm overworked and overpaid. And when you're overworked and overpaid, you tend to do ridiculous things like chase paparazzi. But we asked the guy to leave, 10, 15 times, and you just want to shoot a scene and you want to move on and you want to make your days and you want to shoot while the sun's still shining. And this guy was just fucking us up. Originally, it was a train, actually, and
we couldn't afford a train. So.
We couldn't afford a train that was blocking, the police vehicle to get across the road. So we made it an actor's strike. We didn't think that was edgy enough, so we turned it into a porn actor's strike.
We knew it was the greatest idea for that particular scene in the world.
We had this guy at AV News, I think it's AV News, Adult Video News, and he had the mobile numbers to Lexington Steele and Jenna Hayes and Ed Powers and Nick Manning. And we had, I think, David Rubin just call them up and see if they wanted to come down for a day.
We put Rubin and a couple other people on the case of tracking down porn stars, which is, like herding cats. It's a disaster. And we got what we got, but the good thing about it is there was the first Crank. So when you call a porn star and ask them if they've seen Crank, invariably they've seen Crank many, many times.
Basically, everybody across the board, every porn actor we called said yes to it. One guy wasn't available, Peter North wasn't available, and then Max Hardcore was in jail. And Max was completely upset that he wasn't in the movie, and he really badly wants to be the star of Crank 3, so we're negotiating with him right now.
But then you have to hope that they show up and they don't get their phone disconnected, and it's not as glamorous as people might think porn is.
Ron Jeremy came in last second because a random extra who was on set happened to be best friends with him. He said, you know, you got Nick Manny, you got Jenna Hayes, you got Lexington Steele. Where's Ron Jeremy? And we're like, well, he's not going to want to do our stupid little movie. He's like, absolutely. He loves Crank.
Ron Jeremy was pissed.
Ron was. He was mad.
Pissed. He showed up. He was like, you guys are doing a porn scene? You didn't call me? What's the matter with you? You think I'm played out? We're like, no, Ron. You're awesome. You're great. I mean, come on. We were going to call you. We just...
It's very confusing.
Yeah, Ron Jeremy shows up unannounced. We never called Ron Jeremy. Somehow he found out about it. And then he was awesome. So it was cool. We didn't really think that he'd want to do it because he'd been in so many movies that I'm not exactly sure why we didn't get in touch with him, but once he showed up, it is classic.
It's kind of exciting, playing a character of a guy banging on a police patrol car. I'm basically a glorified extra with dialogue. I hate to say it, I'm basically the atmosphere who says a few things.
I mean, basically, Ron cast himself. Like, he just showed up and he was like, I'm in this movie. We're like, yeah, you are. Okay, good.
You don't say no to Ron.
You don't. He was great.
Because that thing can hurt you.
I'm having fun being a glorified extra. You know, it's fun. I was free today, and I like these guys, and they want to use me in future projects. So work leads to work, which then leads to work. And doing behind the scenes leads to dick, but it's fun to do anyway.
But I think it ended up being one of the funnier scenes in the movie. It's again, unapologetic, and it may offend some people, but, you know, there's a lot of porn in the world.
For the most part, the way that they shoot makes it easier to design because they shoot with such small cameras and they have so many cameras available that you can just design the stunt and the cameras can just go all around the stunt. So it actually gives you more freedom to do, you don't have to think about how you're going to set something up and then do it again for a different angle, which you usually have to do in most films. With them, it's so like run and gun and so crazy and frantic that they're just kind of all over the place. So you really only have to design the stunt to go one way, and then they're going to film it and move around the stunt instead of the stunt having to conform to the cameras. It's a really cool way of filmmaking. It puts you more in the action, I think. Well, the stunt guys are pretty much, you can kind of let them, you can explain what you want something to look like, and then you can kind of let them alone and know that they're going to produce something for you. With the actors, although Jason and Amy are very go for it. I mean, Jason he's a stunt man. I mean, he's amazing. He you know, we had him on wires. We had him doing everything, and so he's pretty easy. But you have to obviously make sure that everything's safe, and go over every aspect of it with them, so they feel comfortable in whatever your situation you're putting them in.
That looked painful, dude.
It's supposed to look painful.
He still didn't hit it. Did he not?
Ask him.
Nicely. Did you hit your nuts? No?
And then, you know, once they feel comfortable with it, I think the kid in them just takes over and they just are having fun and playing.
It's freaky because it's your fucking undercarriage. I can almost steer it here, couldn't I? You can. Oh! Oh! Cut! That's sweet. There was a few things that I had to try for the first time. We tried a few different rigs, stunt rigs that I've never used before. I'm always trying to, you know, find new things about a film and test myself a little bit. And, you know, whatever they throw at me, I'm willing to do. I'm stupid enough. I think that's why they hire me. Ooh, my nuts!
Jason, he's really into his stunts because he is, you know, an action guy, and he wants to be in there, and so he's really really fun to work with in that aspect because he really gets into it.
Oh, it's on now! No! 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 Stop! Stop!
And that's what the case with Amy and Jason were. You know, there were some things that Amy kind of would sort of like at first go, oh, I don't know if I want to do that, but then the next thing you know, she's going, yeah, sure, I'll do it, you know, and then she'd have a blast doing it.
Hey, yeah!
A lot of the stunts I ended up doing myself, partly because I thought it looked really fun, and I got a little sore and hurt from some of them.
The first time we did it was good because Corey had actually already flipped himself onto the windshield in a rehearsal and had already cracked the window just a little bit. So when the stuntman did it, he shattered the windshield. With the second one, they put the replacement windshield in, and we didn't score it because he went through so easy on the first one. We thought, oh, this will be a piece of cake. So Amy flipped him and he landed and nothing broke, and it was a pretty hard hit.
And action.
Hey, you want to hit the glass?
Go again.
Can you score the glass again? All right, Sean.
Yeah, no good.
But it's Sean Graham, so who cares? And so we went and flipped him again, and then it had little cracks in it, so it shattered the same amount of time. But yeah, that was pretty funny. I forgot about that. That was good.
Well, Bailing's truly one of those actors who will continue to act and continue to do something until you call cut.
She was kind of the loose cannon for me on the set. I was always kind of watching her and going, oh man, I don't know where she's going to go, because Mark and Brian would just kind of let her go and would never really tell her cut. They just let her do whatever crazy stuff she was gonna do.
It's the most fun film I've ever done. It's just like the spirit of the set, of the director and the stars. Everybody just so open, friendly, and young, and creative, very spontaneous.
It's like football players, you know, they're going to keep hitting each other until you blow the whistle, and we really should have blown the whistle.
After she gets hit by the car and then Venus shows up and they have that scene, they never told her cut, so she runs around the street like a crazy person, then ends up jumping in one of the cars.
Bailing was doing her crazy, you know, freaking out, dancing, Tourette's situation, and she wanted to continue on, and she grabs the car off the curb and
then takes off driving it down the road, and I was like, what is she doing? We have to call cut. Where is she going? You know?
Get off the sidewalk. Get off the sidewalk.
And that's a wrap on Violink for the movie!
I'm not even sure Bailing has a license.
I wouldn't give her a license.
You know? It's a little scary for
If
everybody.
she has a license, and licenses mean nothing.
The way things happen on this film was so like just kind of, I don't want to say fly by the seat of your pants, because there was a lot of stuff that was very planned, but it moved very organic and very fast. So there was a lot of things like that happened that was kind of cool that you normally don't see on, you know, any other film. It just kind of gave it its own element, you know.
You know, when we first were looking for an editor for Crank 2, we were looking at commercial and music video guys, because we wanted somebody who was super flashy and just who had all the tricks in the book and all this. And we always figured, like, you know, character and story in Crank 2, it'll take care of itself.
Our first thought was to have Brian Berdan, who edited the first Crank, but he wasn't available.
We loved our first editor, and he was unavailable for the second one, and in a weird, sad, great way, fortunately, because Fernando came in and brought something different, you know, probably not better, probably, you know, more
Worse,
unique,
actually, no.
you know, but I really mean that it's
In a weird, sad way.
no, because it's great and sad that we didn't have our first editor, and it was awesome that we had Fernando.
I definitely wanted to keep the humor that they had in the first one, you know, because I thought the first one was really funny. So I wanted to make sure that comedy-wise, it was strong, and I was delivering on that aspect.
He was a music video cutter, and his stuff is flashy and it's over the top. It's awesome. But what amazed us so much about him was how strong this guy is on story and character. I mean, at the end of the day, the Flash was like the least important thing that he gave us.
Because all the action stuff and even like the music-driven scenes, I knew that was going to be fine, but my main focus was on getting the comedy right.
We ended up getting something from him that we never intended to get that was way better than what we thought we were going to get.
Yeah, he literally brought the heart back into the movie.
He's awesome. He's awesome.
Fernando is the best decision we made as far as finding a new member of the team that didn't exist before. He's, you know, we'll work with him on every movie.
I'm pretty sure there were no visual effects in Crank 2, were there?
No, there were no visual effects in Crank 2. It was all natural.
We couldn't afford visual effects. Whatever that guy McQuaid says.
Not really sure what McQuaid's talking about.
There are two sort of categories of visual effects in this movie. One is just general cleanup, which is inherent in the way they make movies. We shot the film on HTV format, which was very liberating for them, and certainly gives you, the audience, shots that you never would have seen in any other way. I mean, you can put cameras and move cameras around. We also had 8, 10, 12 cameras on set running at any one given time, which again allowed for coverage you wouldn't otherwise have ever seen for a movie this size. The downside to it is that pretty much every shot has cameras in it, or it has crew members in it, or has wires in it, things that just needed to be cleaned up. The other thing we did also a lot of cleanup for was, LA is such a huge component to both movies. Actually, it's sort of in many ways the primary character next to Jason, and they shoot LA like LA looks. The downside of that is there are a lot of things in LA that you can't clear. The big scene with the porn strike, where there's a huge Oprah billboard right behind the porn strikers, which is fantastic in dailies. It's kind of funny to see Oprah peering down on the scene, but obviously we're never going to get clearance on use of her likeness. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff in the picture as well, just sort of taking out things that we couldn't otherwise clear.
The ironic thing about James McQuaid, as conservative as he may appear on the outside, he is a renegade himself, a lot like Neville Dean Taylor. He is not linear in his approach.
We had a sequence at the end of the picture where Jason's on fire, and the initial idea was to do it in camera, to do a stunt guy on fire, and to do the last 2 or 3 shots in CG, where you could actually see Jason's face. But the day, during production, it became pretty apparent that it's hard to shoot the guy on fire without seeing his face, and they actually wanted to see Jason on fire. So, about halfway through a day of spectacular dailies that ever made the movie with a guy on fire, they decided to scrap it all and basically shoot Jason with some tracking markers, and we would do the best we possibly could to cover him with flame and burn his face and things like that.
You on fire.
But thanks for that joke, McQuaid. We're glad you did it, because it worked out.
I'll light McQuaid on fire.
It worked
It's
out.
all real. There's no CG in this movie.
But James is, super creative. James has his own way of doing things that actually works with Mark and Brian, because it's not the typical way to go about it.
We work with a colorist, Ziggy Firstel at Riot, who's just about the best colors in the world, and he was able to take this material and really give it a look that the guys liked, and worked really well within the limitations of HDV. It doesn't have the latitude you would have out of film or something, and create what we put up on the screen.
When they came in with the test and told me what cameras they were planning on shooting on, I was very worried at first. When you're used to working with 35mm film or high-end, video or data capture cameras, whether it's Red, Genesis, whatever, you expect a certain amount of latitude range in the files that you're working with. And my first concern was how much latitude and flexibility as a colorist I'll have. So, because you always want as much as you can have, because it's only in the color correction suite is where you start to decide how you want to color it and how the scenes fit together. So you need all that latitude, and the formats that they were using not necessarily had the best or the widest latitude for me to work with. So definitely a concern first up.
No one is, as far as I know, has ever shot a studio theatrical Hollywood movie in HDV. And the tests that we did were okay, to be quite frank. They weren't great. You know, when you stopped on any single frame, the image is a disaster. You can see compression artifact, and you can see all sorts of horrible things. Once we got into post, though, and conformed the movie, it was remarkably good. I mean, they obviously are really masters at figuring out how to exploit these cameras for all they're worth. And the sharpness, clarity issues, I mean, they really weren't apparent in the final product. I mean, again, if you do stop on a single frame and look at it, you can see, you know, why it's, you know, you can see the issues inherent in the format. But as a moving image, it's pretty spectacular.
I hope it's not the last time we see Chev. You know, we'll see. We'll see. We have some ideas. I mean, we definitely have some ideas.
We would only want to make a Crank 3 if people really wanted a Crank 3, so we'll have to see what happens.
You know, when you look around, you look at the evening news, and as they say, and you know, all the things that are going on with the world today, there's definitely a decline that's happening in the Western world. Culturally, intellectually, things are basically just heading to the shitter. You know, it's all going downhill.
And we're helping.
The great American experiment, you know, economically and culturally is basically evaporating into the mist and, you know, beginning the long, inevitable stampede into, like, you know, the equivalent of the final days of Rome and it all. This is all happening around us all the time, and so I think that bodes very well for Crank 3. I think the more that this kind of thing happens, the better the chance for something as abominable and useless and amazing as Crank 3 to occur. So just keep rooting for the world to keep falling apart and things to just keep getting worse and worse. And when things hit rock bottom, you can expect Crank 3.